This is an excellent question and my specialty. So, local SEO is what I absolutely crush it at. So, let's jump into my thought process and how I set up each of my landing pages because the structure of your website and the content of the pages is going to be key to absolutely crushing the competition and overtaking the Google search and the three pack on Google Maps. So, from the top down, the overall SEO power of your website is going to power up all of your sub pages. This is why with SEO, interlinking pages is so important. Now, I can do a whole nother video on that if you need guidance on interlinking. However, let's stick to the location pages because this is a lot to unpack. Um, Overall, I will have on my primary menu of the website, I will have a locations dedicated page. On that locations page will be an information overview of each one of my locations. For instance, it'll have the city and state, it'll have the name of that business listing, it'll have the phone number, it'll have the address, and it'll have the Google Maps link. This way, it's kind of like that nap that you're always looking at with citations. It was sticking to that idea. Now, when you click on the location off the locations page, it takes you to that sub page. So if we're sticking with the dentist location, it would be something like 24/7 emergencydental.com/locations/Tuscan dash Arizona. And that would be the location page for Tuscan, Arizona. Now, the way I like to start off the header for each of my pages is I'll say, like, welcome to 24/7 emergency dental care in Tuscan, Arizona. That's the first header intro that I hit for Google when they're reading the page. They've got that location, they've got the brand name. Now, on the footer, I will generally have like a contact us area that will have, again, the name, address, phone number. Google loves that citation. And usually somewhere near the top, I'll have a paragraph dedicated to specifically that city. You should be using AI to do a lot of heavy lifting for you. But just having that paragraph, now I do things at scale. So I usually have a very generic paragraph and I just change out the city name in each one of those because I've already got the city and state in my header. Now, the next thing I do, besides having that address, having that local phone number, um, is somewhere on that landing page, I will actually embed the Google Maps. So if you go to your Google business listing and you hit share and you hit the second tab, it says like the embed map code. You want to have the map embedded, and the way you know you did it correctly is on the preview on your website. It will show the brand name, address, and your Google reviews. So having that embedded does a lot of behind the scenes checklist marking with Google. They really like to see that confirmed ownership, that this wasn't just a random listing, that it actually is connected to this website, plus all the SEO power of your website helps with the authentication. And then from there, you'll build out citations like claim your Yelp business, do your Bing Maps, get verified on Apple Maps, do Manta, which is a really good directory that's easy to get into with good SEO backlink power. So you'll pretty much structure that the same no matter what you're doing. You'll have a landing page that will talk briefly about the city itself. It'll have generally an overview of the services you offer, and then it'll have some previewed customer testimony, and then maybe an FAQ section. Although for me, I generally do the FAQ on the contact us page. So if you need a live example, I could maybe build one out for you. I just don't show my personal campaigns on here so they can't get targeted. But yes, essentially, you're going to have about 85 to 90% of the same content on each one of those landing pages, but it's not going to cannibalize your SEO because if you structure it right, Google understands that that's just how like a brand franchise location would normally exist. And as long as it's how it normally exists, that's perfectly fine. That's why we embed the map code. That's why we have the local phone number. That's why we have the address on there. We have the proper brand name. We briefly mention what city and state it's in. And that's enough to kind of differentiate that Google's like, okay, this isn't like a spam page. This is actually a legitimate business landing page for this city. We should allow it. Now, the other thing that you should do that is absolutely going to crush it because a lot of your competition won't have it is you need to do the local schema markup for your business and have that on the landing page. So even if you have dynamic schema, which can be kind of problematic for your global website, you should definitely have the local schema code for that page, and then check it with the schema validator and then the Google rich text content preview tool, excuse me. So having, again, your maps embedded, name, address, phone number, having the local schema markup, briefly mentioning the city and state, have an overview of your main services, client testimony, and then possibly an FAQ section, and then just duplicate that landing page and change it for each one.